As we travel through the seals, we're going to read an unfolding story that unpacks, that describes satanic retaliation and destruction on planet Earth against the saved and the lost. Because he lost the war in heaven, he didn't get the throne, he tried character assassination, but he killed Jesus and that went against him and they chucked him out. So now on earth he continues the same battle. He will continue to character assassinate God on earth when destruction comes from him onto planet Earth. And then the lost will say, God, you did this to us. Character assassination. So he's up to his same tricks. But as we travel progressively through the seals, we're going to see a definite story unfold which parallels Matthew chapter 24. Now, I'm not going to go into all these parallels in too much detail. You can go back to Matthew 24 and read it yourself. Jesus speaks about the gospel going to the world in Matthew 24:14. The verses before and after that, we see satanic assault against those who were preaching the message of Jesus dying on the cross to save humanity. And what does he release on planet Earth in retaliation to those preaching the gospel? War, famine, pestilence, persecution, death. Read Matthew 24, it's all there. And this is what we have in the 6 seals. Satanic retaliation against the gospel message of the death of Jesus. And listen, I tell you, I didn't do the first one, but I tell you what it is. You got the rider on the red horse, and he's got a sword in his hand. Yeah, that's counterfeit Jesus. Because in Matthew 24, Jesus said the first thing that'll happen in Matthew 24, 3 and 4, it says the first thing we will read is false Christ, false prophets, deception, and then war, famine, pestilence, persecution, death. This is the exact same pattern we've got in the seals. We've got satanic retaliation. But watch how the story unfolds. This is describing satanic retaliation and destruction, not divine retribution. Okay? That's my point. So you got the first seal, counterfeit. A counterfeit Jesus, a rider on a white horse, but he has a sword in his hand and he's going out to kill. In Revelation 19, you've got a rider on the white horse, and that's Jesus, but the sword is not in his hand. It's on his tongue. Well, one is violence, and one is word, truth. In the second one, we have seen the rider on the red horse. Triggers slaying one another. War. And we've seen that clearly is the devil. War, so counterfeit, war, famine. And that's what we'll read in the third seal. Look it up yourself, Revelation 6, 5-7. And there you will see that they're talking about wheat and barley being very expensive. It takes a day's pay just to feed a family. So you've got counterfeit, war, famine, follows Matthew 24, satanic retaliation and destruction. And now pestilence, sickness. That's the next part of Matthew 24. Revelation 6:8. Notice that this describes satanic attack, not divine retribution. This is not slam dunking people. God is not slam dunking people. It's Satan. So we discredit God. 6:8 English Standard Version. And I looked, and behold, a pale horse. Sick. See? War, famine, pestilence, counterfeit. War, famine, pestilence, Matthew 24, from the devil. And now sickness, pestilence. And I looked, and behold, a pale horse, and its rider's name was Death, and Hades followed him. Wow. War amongst humanity, slaying one another, results in death. And now this rider's name, which was the rider on the red horse, his name is Death. There's a story here, folks. He incites death, and then his name is Death. And it says, and Hades followed him. Death and Hades. That phrase appears in chapter 1 and appears in chapter 20. But first of all, it appears in Matthew chapter 16. Jesus spoke about Hades, and he identifies who's in charge of Hades. Look, Matthew 16, 18, New King James Version. And I also say to you that you are Peter. And on this rock, you are the Son of the living God. On this rock, I will build my church, and the gates of Hades will not prevail against it. The gates of Hades will come against the church, but it will not prevail. The gates of Hades is referred to as an enemy of the church, and it will not prevail. Jesus and the church, one side. Hades, the other side. If you look at verse 16 in the same chapter of Matthew, it said that Jesus took the apostles to Caesarea Philippi. Why? He's in pagan territory there. He's on Satan's turf. What was so important about Caesarea Philippi? He took them to a rock, a cliff, with a cave, and it had a gate. And that gate at Caesarea Philippi was called, believe it or not, the gates of Hades. This was a pagan area, and it was believed in Caesarea Philippi that the gates of Hades was the gate to the underworld, and that all the demons and the devil used to go through that gate to go to the realm of the underworld, the realm of the enemy. And so when Jesus said to Peter, Peter, you are Peter, and on this rock that you are the Son of the living God, I will build my church on this rock. On the gates of Hades, he's going to go right into the realm of the devil, right to his gates, and he's going to put his church on it, and they're going to be locked up in there. They're going to be bound. Wow. So the gates of Hades. The rider on the red horse incites global war. And now his name is Death, it's the devil, and Hades, the enemy, followed him. Evil powers are at play in the 7 seals. Counterfeit, war, famine, and now pestilence resulting in death. War and famine results in death. Death and Hades are also mentioned in Revelation 1:18. Look what it says here. And I am the living one. I died, and behold, I am alive forevermore, and I have the keys of death and Hades. Death and Hades, bad powers. Jesus gained the victory over death and Hades. Death and Hades, bad. The rider's name is Death and Hades, bad. He causes pestilence, war, and famine, and counterfeit. And look at the rest of the verse in 6:8. It brings the first 3 seals together. 6:8. And I looked, and behold, a pale horse, sickly, and its rider's name was Death, and Hades followed him. And they were given authority over 1/4 of the earth to kill with the sword and with famine and pestilence. Sword, famine, pestilence, war, famine, pestilence. Evil powers are being exposed. God is not the one dumping on planet Earth. It's the devil. And he's doing this with the ultimate goal that they will blame God for their misery. Character assassination will continue as he will still try and take the throne. And this is what we're going to read in chapter 13 to chapter 20. We are getting there. I think we can leave it there. Let's continue on next time. God bless you.